How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first of 6 videos that I have planned to dish out, talking about the characters that were available in the Mortal Kombat 1 beta, sort of how they play, given the cameos we had, the potential that they have with cameos and upcoming roster that we know, and just a little bit about what they can do, how they felt, and their overall position in the beta, and what we can expect to change or expect to see come the full release of the game. Now, I've started us off with a very specific one because I don't actually play Kitana ever. Like, this was the first time in any of my Mortal Kombat playing history that I've ever actually touched Kitana in any capacity outside of random pick. And I actually decided to give her a go, and the reason why this is the first video is because this is the one I was actually impressed with the most. Now, I don't have grounds to really say much about that because like I said, I haven't played the past iterations of Kitana, so I don't know how she plays in comparison. However, what I can tell you is I had a lot of fun playing Kitana. Like, even with the AI being as simple as it is in the towers during the beta, it was actually just really enjoyable, and like Kitana's moves felt like they all flowed, and I really like the fact that she doesn't have the fan tornado, like where she has to throw it out and this actual tornado travels. All of it is generated off her fans, from a EX fan toss, from a trap, from a I can't remember what it's called, but that backwards fan toss that she does where it hits the enemy in the air and holds them up and allows for combos. I think it's really cool design, really nice change, and everything just flows really nicely, and especially flows very nicely with the introduction of cameos. Now, I didn't play every character with every cameo. I played every character and every cameo, but not, you know, conjointly. There was too many to play there for me. And right now, just playing every single character as they were was the big step for me, because usually I'm very reserved with my character choices. I've also begun this series of videos with Kitana because it is probably the character I'm the least knowledgeable in terms of combo potential and everything, so I don't want to overstate my knowledge and how I believe I can play her, because there's, as you've probably all seen and seen from other creators, she has a good amount of meterless combo damage. Like, she can hit some serious things, and if you continue watching this video, you'll see I try to stick to what I've found my little B&B Kitana combo that I really like. It was very simple, very easy to execute, and it just flowed very nicely. It felt very satisfying to pull off, especially with like just calling out the Sonya cameo. It felt like everything just fell in place. I only needed to play one very easy tower before this video to sort of learn her moves and everything, but everything just felt like it clicked into place, and I understood how to play her in that sense. And I haven't had that experience with anyone since like Mortal Kombat X Scorpion, and it was just a really nice feeling. So Kitana has a special place in my heart so far for MK1, but like the potential with further cameos is just going to expand further on. I can imagine like a full screen EX fan hits someone, and say you got Motaro, you get that quick teleport, boom, conversion, instant punish into a decent combo. I can't imagine you getting a super high amount of damage off of that, but like a nice amount of damage off of that would be pretty impressive nonetheless. Now, what I'm going to discuss next is what I think are Kitana's biggest strengths, and what she can do very well in this. And what I think she can do very well is she can play a good sort of dash in, dash out footsie game, as well as a decent amount of zoning, keeps some range. She's only got the straight fan, like no low fan. She can do an air fan, so you can sort of do instant air fan toss, which will sort of maybe catch some people if they try to jump your fan, or if they're just getting caught in weird ways. But I think she also plays well into a setup game. If you can push the corner, or even sort of an advantageous spot, you can probably pull off some very strong stuff, because her trap, like, they didn't give her that special for no reason. That trap is going to play very well into a game. It's going to play very similar to sort of how you would with a Frost Ice Ball, like the Frost Cameo Ice Ball, where you want to set up that trap and maybe like try and throw them into it and set it off, because you can set up the trap and then grab them as the trap is like activating, and that'll catch them off of it. It'll set you off, and you can combo off of that. I've seen people do it. However, that is subject to change. It might change that overall, but I don't think they will, because it seems like a very valid tactic, very similar to how you would with the Frost cameo, as I said before, where you can just grab them and pull them into the ice ball. And it seems like a knowledge check on the opponent's part of, are they going to grab me, or are they going to sort of fake pressure me into just taking a hit and then doing something else? Because I'm not sure if you have to block low for it. I'm not 100% on that, or if you can standing block the trap. If you can standing block it, it's a different thing, but if you have to block low, then it can mix up into maybe some overhead stuff, like if you get a cameo that has an overhead strike. I'm not too sure if Kitana had an overhead strike. I'm pretty sure she didn't, because she had a low starter, I believe. But yeah, that's some of her better strengths. I know she's got a good advancing move with that back. I can't remember if it's back or forward too, but you'll see she just like jabs her fan forward and then does an up kick that you can combo off of, which felt quite nice for closing the distance. All of her other stuff felt a bit stumpy or a bit sluggish. Not anywhere near as bad as Lee Mei in that sense, but she still feels like she's quite valid, and she's got a good amount of potential. From what I've heard in other iterations of Mortal Kombat, she's not been the greatest, and there's been a lot of downplay on her. Some people do think she's pretty strong if you play her well, but that comes on a player-by-player basis, obviously. Now, the last thing I have to say, it's not necessarily about Kitana, but more about all the characters and how the combo strings flow themselves, is I feel like, especially with the release of the game and all the cameos being released and opening up options for every single character to play in very different ways, every single string feels useful. It doesn't feel like you just have those weird combo strings that are sort of just there to add another option but don't really extend out into combos. I know that was a particularly bad problem in 11, where some combo strings just didn't lead to anything. They were just there. It feels like every combo string that you play in this game can be used in some way, or at least if you look into the cameos that we have coming up in future, will potentially lead into new things further down the line. But like I said, not a Kitana specific thing, that's more just how Mortal Kombat 1 has formulated as a game. Now it's time to talk about Kitana's weaknesses, or at least what I perceive to be her weaknesses. Now, a lot of her specials can leave her really, really vulnerable on block. I know most specials in the game, if used on block, can leave you quite vulnerable. Some are used to make the end of combo strings on block safe, but in Kitana, I feel like a lot of them are quite unsafe. Now, her trap, obviously the trap has to be unsafe because it has big setup potential, so it needs to be unsafe in that capacity. But it can be used in that neutral game. So it's got a lot of option, therefore it needs to have a lot of negative if used incorrectly. Where she also can suffer is the launching fan can also be quite bad if used on block and the opponent's expecting it. However, you can catch people slipping, so it's sort of a 50-50 in that manner. Kitana's wave dash ability also seems a bit weak in the sense of it sort of on block is death, obviously, but like even when you sort of use it to move around, you can use it to move around the battlefield and get over your opponent and reset yourself out, say like out of a corner, but it can be countered if you get caught with an uppercut on a bad angle, or when you land on the other side of the opponent, you're extremely negative and you're open to punish. So it can be used to sort of push your opponent away, but if you use it for movement, you need to sort of know when it's safe to. Otherwise you will be very, very vulnerable to being punished. Her armored reversal as well. I'm not 100,000% on this, but I'm pretty sure I've been like neutral jabbed. Oh, not neutral jabbed, sorry. Duck jabbed out of it. It's because it's sort of... It's armored, but like I haven't been duck jabbed out of it entirely. But like if someone did a ducking jab, like a down one, and I did an armor reversal, it just didn't hit them at all. They hit the armor, and then I'm left in a punishable state as well. I'm not sure if that's by design, but like if that's meant to be her armor reversal, her get off me move, I'm stuck in the corner, you're overcommitting to pressure, and I need to get out of here. If they just down one jab it, and then they're free out of it, like... The option to down one jab isn't like the only option they have to continue on pressure there, obviously. It's one of many, so it's not going to be the only option they take to continue on pressure in the corner. However, in low to moderate tier gameplay, you're going to see a lot of people down one jabbing when they're sort of unsure and uncertain what to do. So that's going to be a common thing. However, we did just see there on the screen, Li Mei went for the low forward 4, and the armor did absorb a hit and it still caught her, which I believe that forward 4 on Li Mei low profile, so that may be entirely a moot point now. But still, if that's the case, that's a weakness. If not, disregard this entirely. The other two itty bitty little issues I had with Kitana, it comes with her Fatal Blow and her Enhanced Fan Toss. Now, a Fatal Blow can feel a bit janky to hit sometimes, like it's not really connecting the way it should. However, as long as you use a Fatal Blow into an absolute combo where they're in the air with Kitana, it's pretty much guaranteed to hit and you'll get all that Fatal Blow damage like you should. However, her EX Fan Toss, I understand why it might be like this, but it feels just very difficult to hit. I don't know if the hitboxes just don't sort of line up how they seem visually, or whether I'm just expecting them to be a little bit bigger than they are, but it feels like the enemy can just very easily avoid it. It's sort of like a Goro Stomp, like once you know what you're doing, you can dash out the way of it and have no issues at all, despite it sort of trying to be a pressure tool. But yeah, it feels either hard to aim or like it's not hitting when it should. But that could always change. Like I said, it's a beta, things change. Now, as this video comes to end, I'd just like to wrap up with sort of my final thoughts on the character and if I'd sort of recommend playing it, which I 100% do reckon you guys all should give Kitana a try once the game comes out. She's definitely a good bit of fun, very flowy, very fun to play and enjoyable, and very easy to pick up, like very beginner friendly, but with the potential of a high skill ceiling. And that, I think, is an excellent blend. That feels like when you've hit the mark, when you've done right by a character, when it's easy to pick up, beginners can pick it up and play it to a good degree, but then the skill gap separates good and average players, because those really, really good players will make that character shine. So even with all the little flaws, the flaws are just easily negligible by knowing how the character plays and when to use things, when not to use things, what's safe, what's not safe, you know. Just general knowledge will help you in that regard. But yeah, that's basically all I have for this Kitana video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Enjoy the last little bit of this video. Like, subscribe, and get ready for the next one. It's going to be Kenshi on the way out. I have a lot to say about Kenshi. He's pretty cool, but he's pretty complicated. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night or day. Be good people, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.